And this is a Fox News alert tonight. The Obama administration is finally coming clean about the true cost of Obamacare. After years of lies, they are now going on record and admitting that their brilliant plan will actually raise insurance premiums for countless American families. Now, just yesterday, Health and Human Services Secretary Kathleen Sebelius told reporters, quote, well, these folks will be moving into a really fully insured product for the first time, and so there may be a higher cost associated with getting into that market. Now she tells us, now maybe it took her this long to actually read the bill to find out what's in it. Now what's interesting about the revelation is it directly contradicts what the president has been telling you for years. Watch this.
We will start by reducing premiums by as much as $2,500 per family. And we'll do it by taking the following 5 steps to lower costs throughout our healthcare system.
That's why I met with representatives of insurance and drug companies, doctors and hospitals, and labor unions who are pledging to do their part to reduce healthcare costs.
Add it all up, and the plan I'm proposing will cost around $900 billion over 10 years. Our cost-cutting measures mirror most of the proposals in the current Senate bill, which reduces most people's premiums and brings down our deficit by up to $1 trillion over the next decade because we're spending our health care dollars more wisely. When you hear about the Affordable Care Act, ObamaCare, and I don't mind the name because I really do care.
Oh, it's your name. Excuse me, Mr. President. Now, if you really did care, why would you have repeatedly lied to the American people about the effects of this master plan? And not surprisingly, when asked about Sebelius' comments on the rise in the costs earlier today, White House propagandist Josh Earnest tried dodging the question. Watch this.
Can I ask you about some comments yesterday made reportedly by your Health and Human Services Secretary saying that there will be an increase in premium costs for some Americans as a result of Obamacare? Do you agree with that?
I didn't see those comments. What I would actually point you to is I would actually point to the results that we are already seeing from the Affordable Care Act, which is a savings of $2.1 billion, and the analysis from the CBO that actually says in the future we're going to see rates that are lower for higher benefits.
All right, pretty standard response from the administration. Blame, and cue the damage control. Joining me now with reaction, former advisor to Bush and Cheney, Mary Madeline is back with us, and Fox News contributor Joe Trippi. Joe, let's start with the Society of Actuaries. The price of Obamacare, the average rise in claim costs is going to be 32%. We can put it up on the screen. It's right there. And if you look, we're going to be running the different states. Some states are going up as high as 80%. Now, Obama told us it was going to be savings for $2,500. That's not true. That's not true.
That study does not look at the entire plan. The study doesn't look at employer plans. It looks at just single payers buying in.
Obama said the costs were going down, Joe. That's what he said. He promised America.
They are going down, and they're right that we have saved $2.1 billion, and the CBO
we have said that the CBO said. Wait a minute. He sold it at $900 billion. What's the latest CBO number of what they estimate?
The CBO says that people will be paying lower premiums for better coverage.
Excuse me. It's now estimated at $2.8 trillion. Now let's take a look. Wait. Let's look at the Government Accountability Office. How much is it going to How much is it going to add to the debt? Let's put it up on the screen. $6.2 trillion. Government Accountability Office. Did Obama tell us that?
The study does not show. It doesn't look at any of the cost-cutting stuff, any of the savings.
The Government Accountability Office.
The $6.1 billion that has been saved by seniors who have You
mean when he gutted $700 billion out of Medicare? When he stole out of Medicare to rob Peter to pay Paul?
Sean, this study that you're quoting is not accurate. It's not being accurately reported. And yes, some people will be paying higher premiums. Some people haven't paid any premiums in the past, so their premiums are going to be higher.
Let me go to my friend Mary. Mary, good to see you. I know you have these arguments at home occasionally. All right.
I know we don't bother arguing with these mendacious facts, and I love Joe too. But let's just. The ACA, aka Obamacare, is an abomination. Nothing has been saved. It hasn't been implemented, and it just defies common sense. It's an assault on economic liberty and religious liberty and free markets, and the cost of everything is going up for families, for individuals, for employers, for providers, and the quality and the quantity is going down. The cost of things going up just at the inception, the thought of Obamacare. And when it's fully implemented, it will go up not just an average of 32%, but as much as 120%. It's unsustainable, but worse, it's going to diminish quality. It's going to ration not only the quantity of care, but the quality of care by disincentivizing doctors and by saying who can get covered for what and when and for how much. Government's going to dictate and diminish what used to be the best healthcare system in the world. It's
Mary,
just,
let me
it's
ask you this.
unthinkable.
All right, so the president sold this at under $900 billion. He made a big deal about that. President said repeatedly the average family would save $2,500. Now we discover that it's $2.8 trillion in that 10-year period, not $900 billion. $6.2 trillion over a long period added to the debt. And we have 3.2 million Americans that are going to lose their jobs because of the mandates that will force governments, employers, to put people, the penalties they will pay. So they're not going to hire people full time.
Yeah,
None
but
of this
Sean,
was disclosed.
don't be such a sourpuss. Everyone's going to get free birth control, okay?
Oh, yeah,
Aren't you happy about that? And free sterilization.
A lot of
and
good
yes.
that's for me at my age here, you know. I'm getting old. Look at the gray hair coming in like Trippy.
No, listen.
Sean,
okay, so
none of this looks at the cost at any of the things, any of the competition. I mean, we're all supposed to be the Republicans are supposed to be for competition. The state insurance plans that will be in competition to lower costs. All this stuff. In other words, what you're doing, Sean, is listing all the bad stuff.
You're denying reality. The $900 billion.
No.
Go ahead, Mary.
No, I know
Sean,
there are people denying reality. It is not me, Sean.
Oh my gosh. Listen here now. What they're calling competition is the opposite of free market. When the government is dictating who gets covered, what gets covered, how much gets covered, that's not competition and that's not a free market. Their other relief mechanism is to subsidize people who otherwise couldn't pay for these higher premiums. That is a redistribution scheme. They're going to be taking money out of the private sector to put into this public-run health care. That's not competition and it's not growth. They're also stifling innovation by disincentivizing doctors, and thank God they what was it, non-binding resolution to withdraw the medical device tax. But this plan is replete with innovation stifling, which will also increase costs and diminish quality. There's nothing good in it unless you're for free birth control.
All right, let me test
a lot of things that are
Let me test your. Did the president sell this at $900 billion, under $900 billion?
Well, yeah, but we don't know.
Is that what it's going to cost? Because that's not what the CBO says.
The CBO says that people will be paying lower rates for better coverage. That's what it says. And by the way,
you're using one of those Washington calculators because $2.8 trillion is what the cost is going to be, Joe. It's adding $6.2 trillion to the debt. What calculator are you using?
I mean, I'm not using a calculator. I'm talking about that you're not calculating any of the savings. That's a number that happens if you don't if none of the savings happen.
So the Government Accountability Office, let me put it back up. So they say $6.2 trillion is going to be added to our debt. Are you saying the Government Accountability Office is lying to the American people?
I don't believe that 6.8
So the Government Accountability Office is lying, but Obama's telling us the truth.
I'm just disagreeing with the number.
You're disagreeing with the number.
You're the one that throws the word lying around. Not me. I don't believe they're lying.
So is every family going to see $2,500 in savings next year, Joe, or is that a lie too? They're not.
No, it's not. It's not a lie that every one of them isn't going to see that, Sean.
So
some of them
won't see it.
The key was some. No, most people will. Most people buy health care through their employer, and that's how it'll happen.
This reminds me of a lockbox that's supposed to have our retirement money in it.
And the stimulus and the debt reduction. Have a blessed Easter, my friends.
Yeah.
Happy Easter.
Happy Easter. I love you both, even Joe, a little, kinda, sorta. Good to see you. Still